So this is Dyson PH03a. I'm getting this issue. I tried cleaning the contacts there. It's still not working. And from my research online, and I tried to put the screenshot which led me to this repair, is that there is an issue with the board which lies, I think, on the back side of this unit. So what we will do in this video is try opening this up, changing the chips. I'll give you the numbers of the chips and also show you some easier ways. By no means I'm a soldering person. I just did soldering maybe once or twice in my life, and this will be harder than it should be, I believe, because this is my micro soldering. But we will go through it together and see if we are able to fix this issue. First of all, what you have to do is open this up, and there is another tab there, so you would have to push that down. This will open the filter sections, and you don't have to remove this orange thing. Just close this up, remove the one on the back side, and now there should be like total 8 screws. Let me get a shot of that. Now there are 4 screws, 1 2 3 4 on one side and same on the other side, so there in total there will be 8 screws, and I think these are Torx bit. I'm not sure. I'll see what I have. So you would just open these up and be careful. The head will try to fall down, so hold on to it, and then you will have to tilt it to the right side to the screen so that there are some wires so that they are not yanked out of the main board which has the LCD connected to it. So these screws are Torx T10, and you can open this up with any regular screw because these screws are going into plastic, so they are not hard to get out. This is Dyson laying on the side. The front board is still connected. I just laid on the side where the LCD is on the front. Now we will mark down all the cables going to it, try to take some pictures, and then we will remove. And these are the 2 chips that we will be desoldering and resoldering. Now in order to remove this plug, you would just pull this one out, and most of the other plugs, there is a tab. For this one, you would just press this tab and push up. For the second bigger plug is you also push this black tab in and then just lift off. And there is another one similar, and this one there is another tab. You would just press this tab and then just pull out. So now the board is free. What 2 chips we will be working on, they are marked near U2 and U4. So in order to start soldering, what I have is a normal solder gun, nothing fancy. This has like a bigger tip, that should be okay. Some solder tip cleaning, brass. Make sure this is non-magnetic and it's brass, because sometimes on Amazon they sell you just the simple iron wire kind of stuff that's harmful to your solder gun, even though I don't care about this gun. But yeah, you need some pick and place tweezers, some wire wick or solder wick. This will help remove any solder. Some solder when we are doing resoldering. I also bought this was $9. This is fast chip. First we will reflow this on the chip itself to reduce the temperature of the solder which is currently on the chip, and that should make that easier for us to remove. Some gloves. The chip itself, these are TPL. I'll put the number in the, and I have an old tablet. Yeah, this is a Samsung one. I'll use this to zoom in on a chip and then rework that way. Once I set up, you should be able to see the overhead shots. Okay, so let's get started. First step, what we will do is, what I'm doing in this screen is just looking at the zoom version of these two chips on the left. Let's put some flux on these two chips. Then what we will do is we will use low temperature solder to desolder. And you don't need a lot. The flux helps to transmit the heat. Cleaning the solder tip with the brass sponge I showed you earlier. I messed up on that side. Let's see if we can take that out. We might need the solder sucker because I think I used more than I should have. Let's see if we lose any components. I hope not. Still create a bridge. So maybe we need a little bit of flux on the wick. A bit better. Let me cut this used solder wick out. Now put a little bit more flux on it. Is it clean? Can we take out any components? Let's see. I don't think so. Yeah, I think we are good, so we might have to restart. So I'll pause this video, clean this board up with IPA, and we will start from there again. So I have cleaned up my mess. Now let's start to desolder the chip. And I'll try to use the fine tip, which is this side. I should have a better tip, but again, I'm not buying anything special for this. If it has done anything. These pins are still solid. See if we can put the low melt on the other side and see if that can help us a bit. If the solder is not sticking to that the tip, then I think tip needs a bit of rosin, which is flux. Should now help. Maybe it did. I don't know. That's what we want to see. I don't know if it has taken all of this solder, but let's try again. Dipping my solder wick in the solder, in the flux, sorry, so that the solder would travel to this side. I know this job is not something that you should look at to learn soldering, but let's see if I can save some money. I don't want to buy a new board. Some IPA. Now I'll hold the chip and try to lift off. There still is enough solder that is holding it back. Let's see if we can try to clean it up. So I'll stop this video now here and we'll come back once this chip is moved. It's taking a lot of time. I'll follow the same process, but let's see where it goes. Okay, so after quite a bit, I am able to get one of the chip out. So what I did was clean my tip up. It was oxidized. You should clean it with brass, like punch it multiple times. Then dip it in rosin, dip it in the flux, then tin it, punch it again and again until you see this color, which is like a tinnish color. Then I clean my tip, put some of the flux, put the quick chip on my tip on the bigger side, and then just rolled over left and right, and then lifted it up with care. I'm not sure if I have ripped some of the pads out. It doesn't seem like it. Let's investigate. So I'll clean my tip, and my temperature is medium high. It's not fully high because this melts at very low temperature. This is the fast chip. Now I'll tin my tip and then just put it on the side. I'll inspect the, so there is some solder that I need to remove. So what I'll do is I'll take a new solder wick, dip it in flux, and then first, since it's a bigger chunk, I'll just use the solder sucker to get this one out. I'll do the same thing on the left, even though I think on the left there is not enough. I don't see any solder. Now I'll clean the tip again so that it's nice and shiny. It is. Now I'll use the solder wick, which I have dipped in the flux, and then I'll try to clean the pads. And I'll be careful not to bump any of the components on the side. So I think I got all of it. Now let's clean it with a Q-tip. I'm unable to find my Q-tips. So what I'll do is I'll dip a paper towel, not ideal of course, in IPA, and then just wash it. IPA is non-conductive, so it should be okay, and it just evaporates. Let me refill my cup. I'll pause here. I'll use the same technique on the other chip, and we'll be back once both of them are off the board. Then we'll go into resoldering. Now let's try to do the other chip. Just moving the low temperature solder around on the chip itself. Let's put some more flux. I got a bad batch from the company, so I have to use this wire to put solder, which is ridiculous. Solder should help flow the heat properly. And the chip is off. Now I'll clean up. Same procedure. I'll just use solder sucker for the bigger puddles, and then use some soldered dipped into the flux to get out clean up the pads, clean up with IPA, and then we'll come back for resoldering. So now, in order to solder the chips, I'll put the chip number in the description. These are the chips. I got them as a pack of 5 so that I have enough and not. Okay, let me pick one. The chip is tiny. So the chip looks something like this. I don't know if you can see it or not. This chip will have a number, and then on the lower side, if you can see, I don't know if you can, let me see if I can focus. No, there is a dot, right? So I'll show you where this dot goes, and this has to do something with polarity. I don't know. What we will try to do is solder one end so that it's stuck on the board, then go one by one and solder the other legs. Now I showed you the dot, which in my case, I need to clean my tweezers. In my case is this leg. This is the dot. So I need to have the chip aligned like that, so that the U2 and U4 are facing up away from me, like U4 is the farthest apart, and also the pink connector is on my left. So I should be able to pick and place, but before doing that, let me clean my tweezers, and also I'll flux flux all of the pads and put 10 on one. So now let's start to tin one end. I'll use the regular solder now. Dip. This might be too hot. So let's get it medium high so the solder is not sizzling. It's just melting. And I'll try to see through my screen if I can, the one with the tab. You can see there is a little bit of solder on the end, so we should be good. Let's see if we can tack it in place. This might be the hardest part for me, at least. Let's make sure the chip is aligned, which think it is. I'll stop now, and also you can see the chip number, which is TPL7474LA, and this is the point I was talking about. It will be on the left side. This point should go here. Now I'll put some flux on it. And then clean my solder tip. I'll start from the right top and see if I can solder this without messing up. We have bridging. That's not good. I'll come back once I'm done with this. It might take me some time to align and then solder this chip. Okay, so the bridge is gone, but I think there might be some missing pins, as in they are not stuck. So let's check. This pin is good. Second pin seems good. Third pin seems good. Fourth. What about the last one? The last one seems to be moving. Yeah. So we need some solder on the last one. We have a bridge again. Now tacking the other end. Liquefy the flux. See, take a little bit of solder on the tip. Wow, did not bridge, and this was the first time. So maybe solder, melt it a bit, and then just do vertical motion or motions in the direction of the chip pen, sorry. So actually these are not connected yet, so maybe we would have to solder the left side again. I was checking with my tweezers and it moved, so let's start from 0 again. Little flux, let's melt it so that I can see. There's still some haze. Now I'll try to do is maybe do this and see if I can put some solder on my tip. This would be painful to watch for professionals, but I am not professional. I've never done this in my life. What you are hearing is I'm cleaning my tip with the brass, and before putting my soldering iron back, I'll just tin my tip so that it does not oxidize. Let's see, let's fiddle with some of the pins to see if they are solid. This one is good. This one is good, 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 good. Oops. This one is moving. So the second last one, we need to clear a bit more. Looks like this one is moving too. We might need new flux, and let's retry. Okay, so let me start my second camera. So this worked. First, as I showed you, we desoldered both chips. Now, given my pink connector is on my left and white is on away from me, the dots on my chip went on this side first, and then second one. What worked for me is just place it, hold it with tweezer, and make sure you have loaded your solder gun, soldering iron with tin, or sorry, solder wire, and then just run it across. Even though if it's bridging on one end, that's okay because we are tacking it up. Do the other side, and if you find yourself or your pins to be bridged, just clean your tip, come back again, and if it's not sticking to the tip, make sure it's not oxidized, it's shiny. If it's shiny, just put some flux here, and then it should take away any excess solder, and then do the same thing for here. Now we are cleaning all the flux. Both of these chips are replaced, and we'll see if this have worked or not. So it just started working. So the fix has worked. Perfect. As shown previously, it was showing the tank not detected. So essentially there was issue with U2 or U4 chip. Well, here you go. I hope you like this video, and this might have been long, but I'm not a professional videographer or a solder person. I've never micro soldered in my life, but yeah, I hope this helped. Thank you all.